It's time for me to tell you the biggest thing that the Hollywood elites don't want you to know. This is a fact. We are all being controlled by an elite, wealthy, and privileged few. And they will continue to do so until we stand up against them.
South Park has never shied away from controversy. But what if I told you those wild storylines hide terrifying truths about Hollywood's darkest secrets? The creators have dropped bombshells that make you question everything you think you know about the industry.
This satanic cabal of Hollywood and political elites all need the adrenochrome to maintain their positions of power.
Is it possible that South Park is doing more than making us laugh? Could they be trying to tell us something we're too afraid to see?
This is a fact. We are all being controlled by an elite, wealthy, and privileged few.
In South Park, nothing is off limits, not even Hollywood's most disturbing secrets. Take the episode revealing the twisted rituals of the elite. Could it be more than just a joke?
When Jeffrey Epstein, the billionaire, was found guilty of he was set to squeal on all the elites in Hollywood and in Washington who used his child services.
What if South Park is exposing real-life evil in Hollywood, warning us about something more terrifying than we could ever imagine?
Why do the elites want children from adrenochrome?
South Park has taken aim at Hollywood countless times, but some episodes stand out for their brutal honesty. In the episode Cartoon Wars Part 2, for example, the creators didn't hold back when they depicted the entertainment industry as a cesspool of greed and corruption. Hollywood sacrifices are another recurring theme in South Park. Whether it's sacrificing morals for fame or literal sacrifices, the show often hints at the idea that the price of success in Hollywood is much higher than we realize. But it's not just about fame. South Park also delves into the idea of secret societies within Hollywood. From shadowy figures pulling the strings to bizarre rituals, the show paints a picture of an industry that is anything but glamorous.
This satanic cabal of Hollywood and political elites all need the adrenochrome to maintain their positions of power. And they will continue to do so until we stand up against them.
And then there's the matter of specific celebrities. Tom Hanks and Oprah are just a few of the big names that South Park has targeted. But why these figures? What do they have in common? And more importantly, what is South Park trying to tell us about them? One of the most disturbing themes in South Park is the idea of Hollywood sacrifices. While it might seem like just another over-the-top storyline, the concept of sacrificing something, whether it's morals, values, or even people, for fame and power is a recurring theme in the show. But is there truth to this? Are Hollywood elites really engaging in these dark rituals? South Park doesn't just hint at it, they practically scream it. And when you look at the real-life rumors surrounding Hollywood, it's hard not to wonder if there's more to these episodes than meets the eye. And let's not forget about the more specific accusations. From allegations of predatory behavior to secret dealings, South Park has pointed the finger at some of the biggest names in the industry. But what are they really saying, and why does it matter? The series has done so by hinting at the existence of secret societies within Hollywood.
This is a fact. We are all being controlled by an elite, wealthy, and privileged few.
From shadowy cabals to powerful elites pulling the strings, the show suggests that the industry is controlled by forces far more sinister than we realize. The theory surrounding this so-called cult involves a secretive network of Hollywood actors, directors, and influential left-wing political figures. According to this narrative, these powerful elite individuals are alleged to engage in heinous activities, including the and essay of young people. The purported reason for these crimes is the extraction of a substance called adrenochrome from the victim's blood. This substance is believed to provide a euphoric, life-enhancing effect that supposedly sustains their power and control over society.
It is harvested from children for a euphoric and life-enhancing benefit.
The origins of this theory are tied to the infamous case of billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. The theory asserts that following his arrest, Epstein was to serve as a whistleblower on the illicit activities of these elites in Hollywood and Washington, D.C. However, Epstein's death in his prison cell, ruled an S, is claimed by the theory to have been orchestrated by the cabal to silence him and prevent the exposure of their alleged crimes. According to proponents of this theory, the conspiracy will continue unabated until ordinary people rise up against the elites. Supporters of this narrative often rally behind the 45th President of the United States, Herbert Garrison, believing that he will lead them through a great awakening. This so-called awakening is envisioned as a grand event where the elites will be arrested and defeated, restoring justice and order. In any case, this theory has been much alive in the real world, with elites such as Oprah Winfrey and Tom Hanks being accused of being involved in these evil deeds. Speculation suggests that Oprah Winfrey and Tom Hanks visited Jeffrey Epstein's island, known as Little St. James. This private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands, owned by Epstein, gained notoriety due to allegations of criminal activities. The Wall Street Journal just released a detailed report delving into how Jeffrey Epstein manipulated his victims. Victims shared instances where he mentioned the names of his influential friends to persuade women that he could assist them in advancing their careers or immigration efforts. Brittany Henderson, a lawyer representing Epstein's accusers, provided further insights, saying he used the powerful people he was intermingling with to further facilitate his ST scheme, whether those people knew it or not. He was using everyone around him to create this facade of legitimacy. The island featured a large mansion, guest houses, a helipad, and lush landscaping, becoming the center of media attention and controversy for its alleged involvement in illegal activities, including the exploitation of very young ladies. The speculation about Oprah and Tom Hanks visiting the island has sparked controversy, with some insinuating that they might have had serious business there. In addition to the adrenochrome theory, the narrative extends to include claims about the COVID-19 vaccines. It is alleged that these vaccines are embedded with mind control chips designed to track and manipulate individuals throughout their lives. This belief has led to an anti-vaccine stance among adherents, who argue that vaccination is a means of enslavement and control. In an effort to combat vaccination and indoctrinate new followers, the QAnon group in South Park has established a home tutoring service named Tutornun. This organization aims to educate children against vaccinations and recruit them into the movement, creating a youth faction known as Lil Cuties.
You guys really trust anybody anymore? Yeah!
The story takes a turn when Herbert Garrison, having retired from politics and seeking to return to his previous career as a teacher, is approached by Bob White.
He ruined our entire country, and now he's just back like nothing happened.
Bob is the leader of the South Park branch of QAnon and claims to have uncovered crucial information about the elites. He suggests that there are only two individuals responsible for the entire operation, those who feed on the torture and pain of young people, and who are allegedly in charge of the entire scheme. However, Bob's attempt to reveal more details is abruptly interrupted. As Bob and Garrison venture through the snow to confront and expose the supposed elites, they face unexpected resistance. The elites begin to manipulate them digitally, attempting to undermine and discredit their efforts. In a dramatic turn, Bob is transformed into a giant, offensive caricature, by the elites, symbolizing their power to mock and belittle those who challenge them. Faced with this situation, Garrison decides to ally himself with the elites rather than opposing them. In a strategic move, he brokers a deal with them, which includes the arrival of an airplane from Israel carrying enough vaccines for the entire town. This act is seen as a gesture to regain the trust and support of the townspeople. Ultimately, Garrison's newfound alliance with the elites allows him to reconcile with the town and resume his role. He publicly thanks the elites while simultaneously acknowledging their true nature. But are these just wild conspiracies, or is there some truth to them? After all, South Park has a history of using humor to expose real-world issues.
Jesus, look at us. We all don't like the Walmart, but we can't stop coming here. It's like some mystical evil force.
And when you consider the rumors and whispers that have surrounded Hollywood for decades, it's hard to dismiss these episodes as mere fiction. But if these secret societies do exist, what are they hiding? And why are they so powerful? South Park doesn't give us all the answers, but it does raise some chilling questions. In any case, South Park is not the first cartoon comedy show to expose this dark side of Hollywood. The Boondocks have also been quite vocal about the gay gatekeepers in Hollywood. The episode, The Story of Delicious Part 2, is a prime example of how the show used satire to address suppressed homosexuality in the Black community and the music industry. In the episode, Delicious, a popular rapper, releases a song called Homie Over Hose, which features questionable lyrics and choreography that hint at hidden tones.
Come on, Riley, the song, the dance, do the homie. The homie dance ain't I do the homie. That's not you who thinks everything in the world is.
Huey, the show's moral compass, immediately picks up on these cues, while Riley, a fan of Delicious, vehemently denies any suggestion that his idol might be As the episode unfolds, Gangstalicious promotes a new clothing line featuring items that blur traditional gender norms: pink bulletproof vests, crop tops, and skirts. Riley, eager to emulate his favorite rapper, embraces this fashion, while Huey questions the underlying messages.
So you're okay with him being Who said he was You crazy? Gangstalicious. You crazy.
This leads to a hilarious yet poignant scene where Granddad becomes concerned that Riley might be illustrating the generational divide in attitudes toward
I'm so sorry, Robert. A grandson, huh? I can't imagine anything worse than that.
Not Riley. Maybe there's another explanation. Maybe this is some kind of crazy sitcom misunderstanding.
The episode cleverly critiques the hip-hop industry's hyper-masculine image and its often hypocritical stance on It's a direct commentary on how some artists present one image publicly while hiding their true selves. Rappers have been a rumor in the hip-hop industry for years. In fact, in 2011, while a guest on Vlad TV, The Game made headlines for reaffirming that there are quite a few rappers who haven't come out yet. The Game said he doesn't have a problem with people. However, he does have a problem with people who are pretending that they aren't. He was asked if he had collaborated with a rapper in the past and said, possible, yeah, and not being just full out just pretending he loves girls and lives the rap lifestyle, but really he's a man fan. There's a lot of man fans out there in hip-hop. I see how you be looking at around too. Closeted in hip-hop seems to be a topic that goes unspoken in the community. Back in 2019, TMZ caught up with actresses Laverne Cox and Angelica Ross. They asked what their thoughts were on Lil Nas X coming out as "We love him," Ross said. Cox nodded and shared in Ross's sentiment, adding, "Good for him." But Cox didn't stop there. "I think it's amazing in hip-hop that we are having this moment," she continued, adding slyly, "I think more guys and who are gay in hip-hop should come out," to which Ross let out a raucous laugh. The interviewer followed up with the question, "You think there's more?" prompting Cox to deadpan a simple, "Girl." Years later, one Twitter user posted a throwback to the moment, dubbing Cox's simple one-word allusion queer history. Fans were left gagging. One Twitter user said that Laverne Cox's "girl" did more than any other clarification of facts could. Another issue that has been parodied by Boondocks is Tyler Perry's views on religion and In 2010, the Boondocks ran an episode called Pause that riffed on Perry, the creator of Medea, an eccentric, gun-toting grandma who appears in several of his plays and movies. Granddad winds up getting cast in a play by Winston Jerome, who plays a character reminiscent of Medea. But the thing is, Jerome is a secretly man who doesn't really care about religion. He just uses it to shield his true sex.
Then I asked Jesus, how can I further spread your message on earth? Cross-dressing.
After the episode aired, numerous reports emerged claiming the episode had upset Perry. Supposedly, very soon after the Pause episode of Boondocks, Perry fired his entire staff in order to control any leaks of information. Rumors also have it that the Medea creator filed a lawsuit against Boondocks creator Aaron Magruder, but Perry denied any of that. Instead of elaborating on the topic, he said, "Just like the Spike Lee situation, I feel that no response is the best response. I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I will tell you this, there is absolutely no truth to the rumor that I'm suing the Boondocks. Those are all lies. I'm not suing anybody over that. And I haven't fired anyone because of that show either. I don't know where all that came from." Despite denying it, the Los Angeles Times reported that Perry allegedly did take some sort of action over it. Sources told the outlet that he contacted Turner Broadcasting and complained loudly about the episode and even threatened to rethink his relationship with the company. Perry had several shows on the network's channel TBS at the time. The report mentions that the episode pretty much disappeared from airwaves after that. However, the outlet did not know whether the episode had been banned. Meanwhile, Carl Jones, one of the writers, producers, and actors responsible for bringing the Boondocks to life, recently revealed what actually happened. Talking about Winston Jerome, Jones describes how the character came about and why it made Tyler Perry so darn mad. Carl was even close to meeting Tyler Perry in person, but got shot down after an entertainer friend of his remembered his unspoken beef with the Medea creator. "One time I was in Atlanta, and Michael Jai White, Spawn, Blood and Bone, who I worked with on Black Dynamite, was shooting something for Tyler, and he was like, 'You're in Atlanta, you should come by the set.' And I was like, 'All right, cool.' Then we got off the phone and he called me back and he says, 'On second thought, I forgot about that. No, don't come by the set.'" Jones goes on to talk about how they were able to convince Adult Swim to air the episode in the first place, and how the original script included a much more direct depiction of Tyler Perry by actually giving his name to the cult leader who eventually ends up being called called Winston Jerome. What was funny about that episode is originally the character's name was Tyler Perry, and he looked exactly like Tyler Perry. That was a rare moment where Adult Swim was like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? They were being the responsible adult and said, you can't use Tyler Perry's name. You can't make it look like Tyler Perry. So we found another name, which was actually his real name, and we got it under the radar. Born Emmett Perry Jr., Tyler Perry's birth name was discovered by creators over at the Boondocks, and they swapped it into their story, which surprisingly worked at first. So it got under the radar, and then about 2 weeks later, they caught it. That's when they called us kind of screaming at us, like, for real, you can't do that. Don't try to play games. You can't. Jones seemed to back down after that, changing the name and look of Winston Jerome to separate the fictional character from the very real Perry. Still, that didn't stop Perry from connecting the dots, and eventually, the Hollywood heavyweight gave Adult Swim a call. The Boondocks is widely considered one of the funniest shows to ever grace television. Known for pushing the limit on satire, the program has attracted plenty of critics since its 2005 debut. Created by cartoonist Aaron Magruder, the Boondocks revolves around two black boys, political enthusiast Huey and his impressionable gangster wannabe brother Riley. Originally from the south side of Chicago, the two wind up moving to a predominantly white suburb in the city to live with their granddad, Robert Jebediah Granddad Freeman. The Boondocks follows the two as they navigate life in their new neighborhood. Across 4 seasons, it explored themes such as race and politics, all while providing plenty of punch and humor. It enjoyed a 9-year run on the air before ending in 2014. Meanwhile, South Park has been on the air for over 2 decades, and just like the Boondocks, it has tackled some of the most controversial topics imaginable. The success of South Park has been the subject of discussion in the entertainment industry ever since it first premiered. It's not incredibly surprising that the show took off, given its success as a viral video in the internet's infancy, though the first episode's debut on Comedy Central in 1997 was no accident either. However, test audiences weren't responsive to the series' first episode. Cartman gets an anal probe, which made the network hesitate in giving the boys a chance to keep producing episodes. By 1999, South Park had been airing on Comedy Central for only 2 seasons, but had already become a pop culture phenomenon. Naturally, this warranted a transition to the big screen, with Parker and Stone co-producing the first South Park feature film, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Parker assumed directorial duties for the film, which he co-wrote with Stone and veteran South Park writer Pam Brady. The film centers on the typical South Park friend group sneaking into an R-rated film of Terrence and Phillip, which gets them to start swearing, resulting in a nationwide panic over the film, causing the United States to declare war on Canada. According to a review for the Washington Post, the movie takes wicked whacks at targets ranging from Saddam Hussein to the notion that the entertainment industry is chiefly to blame for the pollution of kids' culture. Despite the film's lampooning of the entertainment industry and censorship, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut was a success in its own right. It quickly became the highest-grossing R-rated movie for a time, and even garnered an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Song. In any case, South Park has been one of the most offensive programs on television, consistently poking fun at celebrities, politics, and current events for over 2 decades. There have been dozens of episodes that perfectly provide a spot-on satire of a significant, or even ridiculous, events in history. Satire is an ironic or exaggerated humorous device that's used to illustrate and criticize the public's ignorance over common issues and events. South Park may very well be the best when it comes to satirizing a bevy of topics, both obvious and taboo. In the end, South Park leaves us with more questions than answers. But one thing is clear: the show has never been afraid to confront the dark side of Hollywood. And whether you believe it's just satire or something more, there's no denying that South Park has changed the way we see the entertainment industry. But what do you think? Is South Park just a clever cartoon, or are they revealing the truth about Hollywood's evil P-daters? Are the sacrifices in secret societies just a joke, or are they a reflection of the dark reality behind the glitz and glamour? Whatever the case may be, South Park has certainly given us plenty to think about. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.